1 2 1 2. No, 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 no. I wanted to know if you needed that.
I don't need it.
Okay.
If you need some monitor, though, you let me know.
No, I don't use a monitor.
Okay, because remember, it's going to, I know you don't, but it's going to sound way different because the front of house is off.
Yeah.
So you're going to be talking.
Yeah.
It's Ken talking in Bell Hall.
Yeah.
Pretty empty.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Just do it, man.
Welcome to WellSprings. For those of you I might not have met, my name is Teresa. Me and the band, we're going to help lead us all in song together this morning. We hope everybody at home is doing well. Let's start off with Harry.
When a child is hungry, he ought to be fed. If he falls sick now, ought to find a hospital bed. Man ought to find work if he's willing and able. Shouldn't take a miracle now, put a little food on the table. Asking too much.
Am I asking too much?
Am I asking too much?
Asking too much?
Asking too much.
That ain't asking too much.
That ain't asking too much.
That ain't asking too much.
They take my son, ship him off to Iran. Am I asking too much? Know that he's coming back. Be gone back home, all alive and well. Can't you give him something better to do, other than them drugs to sell? Well, am I asking too much?
That ain't asking too much.
Am I asking too much?
That ain't asking too much.
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 Well, now I've been told we're living in impossible times. Some is counting millions, yeah, me, I'm counting nickels and dimes. I work all night long, and I try to live right. But I be asking too much to live a little before I die. Am I asking too much?
That ain't asking too much.
Asking too much.
That ain't asking too much.
Asking too much.
That ain't asking too much.
Too much.
That ain't asking too much.
Too much.
That ain't asking too much.
Asking too much.
That ain't asking too much.
Asking too much.
That ain't asking too much.
Asking too much. Here we go.
Julie is going to lead our next song for everybody.
I'm tired, I'm worn, my heart is heavy from the work it takes to keep on breathing. I've made mistakes, I've let my hope fail, my soul feels crushed by the weight of this world. And I know that you can give me rest. So I cry out with all that I have left. Let me see redemption win. Let me know the struggle ends. You can mend a heart that's frail and torn. I wanna know a soul clothes are wearing thin. I'm warm even before the day begins. I'm warm. I've lost my will to fight. I'm warm. Let me come and flood my eyes. Let me see redemption win. Let me know the struggle ends. You can mend a heart that's frail and torn. I wanna know a song can rise from the ashes of a broken life. All that's dead inside can be reborn. 'Cause I'm
All right, for this third and final song, as we get kicked off, I know that today we can't gather together, but I hope at home, whether in body or in spirit, you can move for this one. You gotta move, you gotta move, you gotta move, child, you gotta move.
But when the Lord gets ready, you gotta move, you gotta move, you gotta move.
You may be high,
You gotta move,
you may be low,
you gotta move,
you may be rich,
you gotta move,
maybe
you
poor.
gotta move. When the Lord gets ready, you gotta move, you gotta move, you gotta move.
You've got to move,
You gotta 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 move.
you gotta move.
You gotta move when the Lord gets ready. You gotta move, you gotta move, you gotta move.
You see that man
You gotta move,
walking down the street.
you gotta move,
You see the car
you gotta
who
move,
walks at feet.
you gotta move when the Lord gets ready. You gotta move, you gotta move, you gotta move.
You've got to move.
You gotta move,
You gotta move.
you gotta move.
You gotta move,
You gotta
child.
move.
You gotta move.
You gotta move when the Lord gets ready. You gotta move, you gotta move.
All right, guys, take it away for us. Woo! You may be old.
You gotta
You
move,
may be young.
you gotta
You
move,
may be weak.
you gotta move,
Maybe have
you
struggle.
gotta move. When the Lord gets ready, you gotta move, you gotta move, you gotta move.
You've got to move.
You gotta move,
You gotta move.
you gotta move,
You gotta move.
you gotta move.
You gotta move.
You gotta move when the Lord gets ready. You gotta move, you gotta move, you
One more
gotta
time. You've got to move.
You gotta move,
You gotta move.
you gotta move,
You gotta move.
you gotta move, you gotta move when the Lord gets ready. You gotta move, you gotta move, you gotta move when the Lord gets ready.
You gotta move.
You gotta move, you gotta move.
Welcome to WellSprings. from home. To all of those joining us by live stream, we welcome you. Through your screen and the magic of the internet, into Bell Hall with us this morning. My name is Josie Waldman. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm so honored to be serving as our worship leader this morning. Wherever you are this morning, know that we feel your presence here in this room today, and that you are all gathered here in spirit with us. Each week when we gather, we light a chalice as a symbol of our spiritual heritage as Unitarian Universalists. It is not just a symbol of what is past, but of what is present, that divine spark, that inner light that shines at the heart of each of our lives. As we light this chalice, may we share our light with each other and with the world. We've asked our ministerial intern, Beth, to come forward to light our chalice, and after she's done so, we'll say these words together. We light our chalice to celebrate the path lit before us, the warmth of kindness that shines from within us, and the radiance of wisdom that is shared between us and never goes out. Good morning. Our mission here at WellSprings is to be a community charged full with the charge of the soul. And what is charging me full this week are some conversations I had on Friday. As many of you know, I'm a small business owner, and I have several people on my staff who have made the decision not to be vaccinated against COVID-19. This can be frustrating for me. I've said more than once I would require it if I could, but with the staffing shortage, I just can't afford to lose anyone. And I've seen the posts and memes on Facebook calling anyone who won't get vaccinated selfish or stupid for not trusting science, and blaming them for all of our late summer 2021 problems. So on Friday, I decided to sit down one-on-one with each of these employees, find out why they weren't vaccinated, and make sure they understood the potential impacts to them and to the business as it relates to employment, and just to connect. To a person, these were good, respectful conversations. I learned a lot about the reasons for the decisions they've made so far. And I don't see any of them as stupid or selfish. They understand my perspective and know that any future decisions I make will not be personally directed at them. And some of them may change their minds. It reminded me that it's so much easier for me to judge people before I know their stories. As my judgmental attitude lifted, I felt it being replaced with grace. May we all seize the opportunities this week to feel that grace. This morning, I'd like to especially welcome any newcomers among us. If this is your first or second time joining our Sunday service, we are so glad you're here. We hope you'll fill out an online connection card so you can learn more about us and start to introduce yourself too. There's a link to the online connection card in the video description below. If you'd like to interact with others who are joining online this morning, there's also a live chat available on your screen. To access it, you will need a YouTube or a Google account. Just sign in and then click the live chat button to say hello. We have a few announcements we'd like to share this weekend, and for that, I'll turn it over to our membership and communications coordinator, Jessica Heichel. Jessica?
Hi, WellSprings. My name is Jessica Heichel, and I have three announcements for you this week. The first is that starting tomorrow, this week, is the week that WellSprings has adopted Meals for Seniors Shelter for Families. So if you think you can help contribute to a meal, I will post a link to the sign-up sheet in the chat. Everything that's needed at this point is things that you can purchase at a store. So things like breads, snacks, granola bars, fruit. So if you're able to contribute, take a look at that sign-up sheet and see if there's a spot you can put your name. Second announcement is that we're going to be offering another installment of our Showing Up Against Racism series. This series is a bit longer than our usual small groups. It will run from October through March. So since it is such a large commitment, there is a questionnaire that we would like interested folks to fill out before committing to this small group. So I will post a link to the questionnaire, and I will also post some information that talks about what this group is and what it does in the chat. Third announcement, as you have undoubtedly realized at this point, we are not meeting in Bell Hall this week. COVID is a changing situation, and our board and Reverend Lee are keeping a close eye on it. There are situations under which we will revert back to in person, and situations under which we could revert back to online. So to help you untangle that and to keep it straight, Reverend Lee has put together an FAQ. I will link that in the chat, and I will also link the letter that she wrote us this week about why we chose to go remote this week. Hopefully I will see you in person soon. If not, I'll see you right here next week. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks, Jessica. At WellSprings, the foundation of all that we do is the power of connection, of making space in our hearts and in our lives for one another. This is the part of our service where we honor that connection by greeting one another. Take a moment now to share a greeting in the live chat, or maybe to say hello in the WellSprings Oasis Facebook group, or to reach out with a text message or a note to someone else in our community who you're thinking of today. In whatever ways you are greeting, please do so now. Thank you for those warm greetings. Immediately after our service, you're all invited to connect face-to-face with our staff and other members of our congregation during our online coffee hour hosted on Zoom at 11 o'clock. Just click the Zoom link in the video description below to join. We'll also share it again in the chat as we come to the end of our service. I invite you now into our time of generosity, an opportunity to express our gratitude for the ways WellSprings impacts our lives and the lives of others. If you care about this community, if it's helped you through these times we're living in, we hope you'll honor what this place means in your lives by sharing a gift with us. If you'd like to put something in the virtual hat today, just text WSprings to 73256. A link will pop up so you can make a gift online. There's also a link to our online giving form in the video description below. Thank you for all the ways your gifts of time, effort, energy, money, kindness, attention, and care all support our WellSprings community and the communities and partners we support beyond our doors. Our offering will now be gratefully received. having shared energy between us and giving beyond us. Let's take some time now to reground into the deep and soulful energy that's within. We do this by doing what is most simple and elemental in our lives. We take a breath. We breathe in and we breathe out without rush or hurry. There's nowhere else to go, nowhere else to be. So let's be here together now as we prepare for our time of mindful silence. We follow these words from Thich Nhat Hanh into our time of meditation. If we want to enter heaven on earth, we need only one conscious step and one conscious breath. Let us cultivate peace and experience presence in this quiet time together. Wherever it is that we are, whatever it is that we are doing, however it is that we are feeling, let us remember that peace and presence are always as close to us as our own breath. May this be so for you this moment. May it be so for you this day. May it be so for you in the days to come. May it be so for all of us. As we've returned temporarily to this online way of worshiping together on Sunday mornings, our congregation's children have also returned to their online gathering for Youth Spirit and are once again meeting on Zoom every week at 9 a.m. If you'd like more information about how to connect your family with our programs for children and youth, please do fill out a connection card, and we'll be in touch to follow up. But for now, we have a message from our Youth Spirit Director, Carol Breslin, for this week's Youth Spirit Yell.
Hello, WellSprings. Carol Breslin, Youth Spirit Director. I just wanted to take a moment during our Youth Spirit Yell to invite you to say goodbye to Helen Zhu, our Youth Spirit Assistant. She's been with us since the before times, in the classroom, also helping with the concert or delivering Easter bags. She was great with the kids and also was very warmly received by the congregation. So if you would like to say goodbye, there is a Realm post where you can post some comments. There's also a link in there if you'd like to make a monetary donation. I believe that link is also going to be posted right here in the chat and maybe even somewhere below me. Thank you for your support of Youth Spirit as always, and thank you for joining me in our warm wishes of goodbye for Helen.
Thank you, Carol. It was so good to see her. Whether in body or in spirit, at home, please join us for our next song.
If you miss the train I'm on, you will know that I am gone. You will hear the whistle blow 100 miles, 100 miles, 100 miles, 100 miles, 100 miles.
And the verdict is? Yep. All right. Take two. There's a story about Beethoven that I swear to God is true. The great composer had just put together his most recent concerto, and he gathered a select group of friends and admirers to hear it. He played through the entire piece of gorgeous music, and the assembled crowd, recognizing how amazed they were by it, just stood and applauded. After those applause, someone came up to Beethoven and asked, "It was beautiful, but what does it mean?" And with that, Beethoven went back to his piano, sat down and played the concerto the entire way through again, and said, "This is what it means." I feel that way even before the recent snafu y'all just witnessed and got to share together. I feel that way. This is what it means about this message series that we're starting today. We plan, God laughs. I feel like I could just go full Zen on you today and say, look at this, and look at what's not here, and look at the live production that this is, and look at all the things we cannot control or predict, and look at all the people who were here last week, separated out, spread out, safe, masked, all the protocols in place. And then this past week, when Chester County had that reading bump up a notch from high to very high, and Reverend Lee and our Board of Trustees, following the guidelines that they had put together and followed clearly and rigorously all throughout this time, made the decision and shared with all of us that we couldn't gather the congregation here. Just last week, how many people did I say, I'll see you again a week from today? Right back here, same bat time, bat place, bat channel. And no, different than we expected. This message series is based on an old Yiddish proverb. We plan, God laughs. I know no one personally who takes this literally, who believes that the divine somehow sets us up to fail, and the moment we plan anything for the future, the divine laughter peals out through the heavens, mocking us for being foolish enough to anticipate a future and prepare for it. That literal meaning does nothing for me. But the deeper meaning of it, that's wisdom we can live by. Because we're living it right now. We plan in this universe so, I wanted to say beset by change, but it's not beset, it's just a fact. This universe so filled of change, made of change, and our expectations of and our preparations for the future. The best meaning I know of we plan, God laughs, is to take our preparations and our expectations seriously, because as human beings, we have to have them. That's part of what our brains do. To take them seriously and hold them very, very lightly, because we never know exactly what is going to happen. So yes, we have suspended, as I look around at most of these empty chairs, save for the folks like me who are involved in today's service, yes, we have suspended in-person worship for how long? I am going to enact for you, I am going to embody for you right now my favorite emoji of the last 18 months. Sometimes that's all there is to say, except for one other Yiddish thing, which is oi gewalt, as my ancestors taught me how to say. But my goal here today is not to have us fall into despair when our expectations and our plans and our preparations don't turn out as we would have wished. Rather, the opposite, because this message series is about unpacking living in this universe and this time and this place of uncertainty not completely unprepared, even if we know we cannot control all the outcomes. And I was reminded of the deeper meaning of this series, about what we might find that can guide us through, hold us, that can hold our hearts and our hope and something dependable for us to count on. I was reminded of it when, I'd say in the last 3 weeks or so, I got a whole bunch of Facebook memories. You see, I've been a clergy person, ordained clergy person, for approaching a quarter century. And I have done a lot of weddings in this time of year. Late summer, early fall. That's when my own marriage, my own wedding happened. And so I was reminded in these last few weeks of all of these people's lives that I have been invited into such a blessed, happy occasion. And as I always tell the couples and the families that I'm working with, the heart of a marriage ceremony, it's the vows. Could be the traditional, could be the ones that the couples write. The vow is the message. The vow is the sermon. I mean, just think about the most traditional. For better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health. Right there at the very beginning of a marriage. Chances are, we don't know exactly what's going to happen. And yet we do not go into that uncertain future with our hearts just ready to be wounded. The uncertainty of living in this universe. No. We go into that uncertain future in marriages and beyond marriages, other forms of relationship too, ready to live by something that is at the heart of our Unitarian Universalist tradition, which we call covenant. Promising to be there, for better, for worse, etc. Now we know that no covenants and no promises are perfect either. Not all marriages and not all relationships and not all forms of communities make it. And still, we can take our vows very, very seriously as we live this life. I think for a certain extent, even as we know that not all our vows are going to make it, not all our covenants and our promises will hold. Sometimes covenants and promises are surpassed by other covenants and promises that need to emerge. But that doesn't mean that we just give up on making vows and promises and holding covenants together. Because I think the other choices are actually far worse. A certain kind of nihilism. Things change, shrug, and in that shrug is who cares? I remember what is for me still the best of all the recent comic book movies, the personification of chaos for chaos' sake. Heath Ledger's amazing role as the Joker in The Dark Knight. Let's give up on making any plans whatsoever so that all we do is seek to exploit each other. We still need to make and hold promises together so we don't fall into complete and utter chaos. And to make promises that allow us to have a grounded and sober hope. I say sober especially today. Today is 16 years without a drink for me, since today. Thank you. But that larger sense of sober, right? Clear-eyed, open-hearted, connected. Because the other extreme from nihilism is this meme that I know a lot of us have seen this past year and perhaps posted. This is fine. Everything's great. Everything's perfect. Ooh, no. Beyond nihilism and beyond this is fine, there is covenant. There is being a promise making and a promise keeping and a promise revising and a promise living kind of people together. We need covenant because we live in a world of uncertainty, not in spite of it. Covenants are not about outcomes, that we could promise each other everything is going to turn out exactly as we want, or everything is going to turn out all right. Covenants and promises are profoundly about presence. I'm just thinking of one right now. It's unpredictable. I would have put this meme up here right now, but I wasn't prepared. It just came to me in this moment. One of my favorite ones that I have shared on social media, and I know many of you have shared on social media as well too. It simply goes like this, and very often it's accompanied by a little sliver of moon. We are in space. No one knows what's going on, and I love you. That's a covenant right there. We are in space. No one knows what's going on, and I love you. I was reminded of the power of this promise of presence. A week ago, the 20th anniversary of 9/11. I'm remembering that at the time, there were so many materials put out for parents of kids with this overwhelming, scary, world-rocking event happening. And yes, there are questions to answer that kids have in developmentally appropriate ways. But you know what all those guidelines basically boil down to? The loving presences in kids' lives, letting them know that they will do their best to be there. That is covenant. Because we live in such a world where uncertainty means things will change. And this plus our human perfections mean that none of us will, complete our vows perfectly. And yet we are still making them. Because on the most essential level, reality is relationship. And to show up, to promise presence, it is honoring the basic covenant that life has already made with us the moment that we are born into it. We are born from each other and for each other. And faithfulness to covenant means that we do our best to honor that every single one of our days, even when our covenants appear to break or to end. I saw, as so many of us did, a really touching example of this from this guy not too long ago. Steve Burns, former host of Blues Clues. Some of you, the singers here, because that's what singers do, they're already singing it, okay? I know a lot of popular songs and kid songs. That's actually not one I know of committed. So Julie, you can tell me about that one afterward. My nieces weren't old enough, and I was kind of too old, so Blues Clues, when it was on and really popular, it wasn't so much in my orbit. I was aware of it. But for those who love Blues Clues, something really sad and kind of devastating did happen. When Steve Burns, younger version of himself, the host, beloved host, older version of himself, recently. By the way, that's Steve Burns alive. That's not just a pun. There developed kind of all of these internet rumors that, remember, Beatles fans, Paul is dead? Steve Burns had died, and they brought in a body double to say goodbye, and Steve Burns was, in fact, not alive, but Steve Burns alive is real. Recently, many of us know Steve Burns showed back up. And I want to share his words with you, almost in their entirety. Because this is covenant, even after covenant seems to end. Steve Burns, who I wasn't all that familiar with, as I said, I got to see why he was so beloved, so earnest. He said, "You remember when we were younger?" In this recent video, we used to run around and hang out with Blue and find clues and talk to Mr. Salt and freak out about the mail and do all the fun stuff. And then one day I was like, "Oh, hey, guess what? Big news, I'm leaving. Here's my brother Joe. He's your new best friend. And then I got on a bus and I left, and we didn't see each other for a really long time. Can we just talk about that? Great. Because I realized it was kind of abrupt. He goes on to talk about college. That's where he went. He went away to school. College was really challenging, by the way, but great because I got to use my mind and take a step at a time, and now literally I am doing many of the things that I wanted to do. I mean, he's talking about him in the audience. I mean, we started out with clues, and now it's what? Student loans and jobs and families, and some of it, understatement of the year, and some of it has been kind of hard, you know. I know you know. And then the heart of it, the covenant honoring heart of it. I wanted to tell you that I really couldn't have done all of that without your help. And in fact, all the help that you helped me with when we were younger is still helping me today, right now. And that is super cool. I guess I just wanted to say that after all these years, this is the part that makes me tear up a little bit. I guess I just wanted to say that after all these years, I never forgot you. And I am super glad that we are still friends. That a teen actor grows up and goes away to college is not a tragedy. That the people who loved him and counted on him and miss him when he moved on is a loss and a grief. That they once shared a connection, and that connection helped all of them, and knowing that without each other they would not be who they are, that reveals that covenant was operating all along. And to know that covenant is always here, and to be honest and grateful, and return to it over and over and over again, even when it changes. That is nothing more, nothing less than a way to make it through this world. Make it through this world with our hearts intact, broken, and healing, and whole. So today I want to say, to those of you I was expecting to see in these seats, even though there is distance, you are not here, and yet you are. We are not together, and yet we are. Literally today, we are connected. Even as relationship changes, some bonds can never be broken. Always connected. Amen. And may you live in blessing. I ask if you would unite your heart with mine in prayer. Spirit, we ask guidance in the midst of shifting and changing, a life in which trapdoors open underneath our feet over and over and over again, and the unexpected sometimes feels like the only expected thing. We ask, how do we take a stance in the midst of this? How do we remain open in the midst of what is unpredictable? It is by remembering the vows that sit most deeply upon our hearts. And to know that although we are imperfect vessels for those vows, still, imperfect vessels, they are beautiful. Indeed, this is why we need covenant in the first place. So today, may we hold lightly the vows, the preparations, the plans that we make, knowing that one form or another, eventually they will change. And may we deepen into these vows we make today, and these vows, these plans, these covenants, these promises, for they are life-giving, these plans, promises, covenants, they give us back to life. Amen.
All right, everybody at home, and those of us here, whether in body or in spirit, just lift, and Melissa's going to lead our last song today.
La 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 la. You've been so kind and generous. I don't know how you keep on giving. For your kindness, I'm in debt to you. For your selflessness, my admiration. For everything you've done, you know I'm bound to thank you for it. La 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 la. Hey, 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 hey. You've been so kind and generous. I don't know how you keep on giving. For your kindness, I'm in debt to you. And I never could have come this far without you. For everything you've done, you know I'm bound to thank you for it. La 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 la. La 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 la. Oh, I want to thank you for so many gifts you gave with love and tenderness. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your generosity, the love and the honesty that you gave me. I want to thank you, show my gratitude, my love and my respect for you. I want to thank you. Oh, I want to thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's too good a mask. This light goes out, and the light stays. That is covenant. And together we say these words together. As we release this flame from its faithful service today, we allow the spark in each of us to burn on, to warm our compassion, to fire our delight, to light our paths today, tomorrow, and always. If there is nothing else we know today, may we remember the truth of our connections with each other, wherever we are and wherever we go. May it be so for each and every one of us. Band, take us out. Let's put our hands together at home or here.